The Twittering seems to be taking over the sports world. Mike suspended a guy over Twitter, and Rex Ryan benched a guy over Twitter, and everybody in the NBA is Twittering. Have you given that 1 second of thought concerning your own team?
Just yesterday, I asked, after reading all that, I asked them in our team, just group right before we leave the field, if anybody had a Twitter account, and nobody put their hand up. So I don't. At this point, I said, I just asked. I said, I thought what we do on this field and in our team meetings was between us. And so far it has been, and I just said if that isn't the case, then I said we might as well invite the media to all our team meetings and in the locker room after the game and share it with everybody. I said so obviously either your loyalties to us and we're a family here and what happens here is between us, or we'll start inviting everybody and or maybe you'll have your own team and you'll be able to do it wherever you want to do it. But this is. And I haven't had to because our guys, I don't, not that I know of that anybody's doing it, but I just said I'd hate to see it happen, or what would happen if you did, or if you, Lord forbid, you're doing it at halftime when we're trying to make adjustments. It tells me you're not real concerned about what we're doing, and you just need to do something else probably. So, so we just had casual conversations about it, and.
So is it your understanding that none of your players have a Twitter account, or just that they don't use it to, let people in?
Well, it's my understanding, since I asked if they had an account, that they don't, since no one said they did.
Al says 6 of them do, so what time's practice start?
I'll have to find out who the 6 are, So anyway, that's just, hopefully, it's just common sense, and in the end, I'd be disappointed if that was the case with any of my guys.
Do you think that a lot of your players are already guarded against that stuff because there is so much coverage of your team, and when they go to class, students are probably always asking them questions about how things are going? I mean, has that kind of been built up over the years here, maybe?
Could be. I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but in the end, they're aware of how, all the exposure that they have and the constant exposure of everything they say and do.
He's pretty active on his account. So you have one, do you do anything?
No, I don't. Don't see it happening either. I do have Facebook, but it's just strictly for my recruits. I have a group of recruits that are there, and I've had a bunch of other people try and get on that can't. So I made sure of that before I said I'd do it. That that I'm not dealing with everybody out there. I'm just dealing with a group of recruits. And that's it.
Will it be a team doctor that makes the final decision on Sam, or you, or him?
I think it'd have to be everybody, in that the doctors feel he's safe to play. 2, that Sam feels confident that he can play and play to the level that, that a winning level, and us evaluating it through practice that he can play to that level.
Can you see he's so competitive that you might have to say, no, you're not going to play?
Well, possibly if we didn't see the progress through the week that he's going to be effective in the way we're used to seeing him be effective, that yes, but I, Sam's a bright guy too, that he knows if he isn't, he's aware, he would be aware and not want to go out there if he wasn't able to play at a winning level.
There's not been any talk about a re-injury. It's been completely his arm strength. Is that something the doctors would deal with?
Sure. Doctors would determine, that he's, safe to play or not.
In light of what we were just talking about before about Twitter and Facebook, does a coach have to ask himself, how much do I want to control, or do coaches typically just feel like they can control everything?
No, I think we have resigned ourselves to the fact that all coaches that you can't control everything by a long stretch. So in the end, but there are certain things with your team that you can, and that's what we try and govern and make sure it's appropriate and right.
If the Miami game comes down late to the fourth quarter, what might you have learned over the last few games that have come down in the fourth quarter that you might do differently, or your coaching staff might do differently next time you're in that position?
Well, again, more than anything, hopefully make plays down the stretch that you have to make. Come up with 3rd or 4th down stops on defense. convert third downs on offense and put the ball in the end zone. In the end, that's what has to happen. If you have to play well in tight situations when, in critical situations.
That's what your players would do. What about you as a coach or your coaching staff? As you've searched your soul, what might you do differently next time you're in that position?
Well, you're always hoping that you manage the clock properly. You're always hopeful that you make the right calls and that your third down stops, or whether you're blitzing or not, that you're gonna give your guys a good opportunity. But in the same thing offensively, that that third and long, that the route you call has a better chance of coming open than one other one that you might call. So to me, that there's always trying to put your players in the right positions that give them the best chance.
On the Baligan case, to me, it seemed like the NCAA rule is keeping him out is antiquated. It's for back in the day when players took the traditional route from high school to college at age 17, 18, 19, 20. But Baligan didn't do that. The guy from Florida State, he was in trouble with the law. He couldn't do that. Do you think that rule is too old school?
It's fair to say that it may need revisited and to be looked at further. I think you bring up good points. It's not me bringing them up, but you are. And since you asked me, that it's fair that I think you have good reason to say that, and so, in the end, it's what's the intent of the rule, and so it should be looked at further.
How would you change it if you could?
I'm not going to get into that since his case isn't finished. I don't think that's right, and I don't know that I'd put Mike in the right position one way or another with what I said. So in the end, I think it's fair just to do what I said, the powers to be that are, that they revisit it and look at the true intent of the rule and what's the intent of these guys and moving forward with other young men. And it's fair to say that there are principles or other ways that people can come back. So, this one's right, this one's not, I don't know, but in the end, as you said, what's the intent of it? And, so it's worth reevaluating.
This is not a knock on the Mormon religion, but they're 25 years old and they're going on missions. How's that different from Baligan? I mean,
well, again, I'm not going to sit here and get into the religious views and all that. I got far too much to do than to have to deal with all of that. So in the end, as you brought up, that there are some situations that are okay, others that aren't, and so again, I just, like anything, it's like after the first few years, you revisit the clock rules that we had for a while and change some, or you revisit the replay and you try and make it better. And like anything, hopefully they make sure that we're always revisiting whatever rules or parameters we have to make sure that they still apply.
How do you characterize Baligan's chances of returning, because no one else has even thought there would be any chance?
Well, again, right now I don't see it happening this year, so it's not likely to happen this year. But we'll see from there.
So your first team offense takes the field tonight. Who will be at quarterback?
You'd have to be there to see. So, well, if everybody's twittering them, I'll just invite all you guys, because.